first thing you'll do is select your mesh object. Then head over to the Better Cutter panel in the sidebar. Under Create Cut Object, you'll see two options, a plane and a curve. Let's start with the plane. You can set its color and opacity right here. This is just visual, so you can always see it clearly in your viewport. Hit Create Plane, and Better Cutter automatically fits the plane to your mesh. There are two cutting modes to choose from. Planar mode uses a simple straight cut. It uses the plane's position and orientation to slice cleanly through the mesh. Follow Shape mode uses the actual shape of the plane to cut the mesh. So if you've modified or reshaped the plane, the cut will follow that exact outline. There is also a split mode toggle. In cut-only mode, the add-on simply adds new edge loops to your mesh, and the cut will work even if your mesh has ngons, which is one of the key features of this add-on. In split mode, it splits your mesh at the position and shape of the cutter plane, separating the geometry along the cut. You can also increase the number of subdivision cuts. For example, setting it to 2 will create 2 parallel cuts at once, and adjusting the value higher or lower will add or reduce the number of cuts accordingly. Let's see how the cutter works. First, let's start with the simple planar cut. Now we have created the cutter plane. Select the object you want to cut and shift-select the cutter plane and click on Start Cut. And there you go. It created the loop cut on your object. And another cool feature of this add-on is its live update. After adding the cut, you can simply move the plane up or down, or even rotate the plane to move the loop cut to wherever you want, and it will update live. One thing to keep in mind is there is also a manual update mode. Once you move the plane, you will have to update the cut manually by clicking the Update button. The live mode takes more resource from your computer. If you think your computer is slowing down, you can simply switch to manual mode. The subdivisions can be increased or decreased even after the cut, and the subdivision spacing can also be adjusted. The cutter plane can be aligned in the X, Y, or Z axis from the Align Cut Object section, which is right under the Curve Object section. Now, let's move on to the next important feature of this add-on, which makes the better cutter really a better cutter. Let's say you want to create a panel design. What you would normally do is create a cube, go into Edit mode, move the edges up and down, rotate them, bevel them, and delete the faces, which is fine, but consumes more time and is destructive. And here comes the follow shape of Better Cutter. As usual, select the object, create the plane, get into Edit mode, and adjust the shape based on your need, and create a cut. You will create a cut based on the shape of the plane, which is non-destructive and can be edited further if you don't like the cut. Here comes the most important feature of Better Cutter, which is Curve Cut. Have you ever thought of cutting an object with curve? This feature would be very nice and very, very useful. Just like other methods, you can select the object that you want to cut, click on Create Curve from the Better Cutter panel, or you can even use any curve that you create, or even an SVG design that you imported from the internet. Anything will work. Select the curve, and I'm going into Edit mode and adjusting the shape of the curve to my need. Now select the object and the curve, create a cut, and there you go. If you could not see it, turn on the X-ray mode, and the cut inside the mesh will be visible. The cut is created based on the shape of the curve. Just like other methods, you can also increase or decrease the subdivisions and depth of the cutter. You can increase or decrease the cutter depth according to your need, or rotate and align the cutter curve on different side of the cube to cut a different area of the object. The curve cutter is still under development, and more features will be added in the future versions. There are three options inside the follow shape. The first one is cookie cut, which is what we have been talking about throughout this video. This option will split the mesh according to the shape of the plane we have shaped. And another option is cut through. This option is just like the loop cut created with follow shape, but in this option it creates 2 loop cuts for every subdivision, and the depth can also be adjusted. And the last option is keep inside, which is exactly the opposite of cookie cut method, which only keeps the cut area instead of the whole object.
Once you are happy with the cut, you can click on Finalize to make the cut permanent. You cannot edit the cut after applying it. It just acts like a modifier in Blender. Once you apply, you cannot edit it. One more thing to mention is it can cut multiple objects at the same time. Just select the different objects in the scene and create a plane or curve and create the cut. It cuts on all the objects.